again to another of our lessons. Lesson 1, I can see you enjoyed it. And I'm quite delighted that you did very well in the quiz for last week. Today we're going to take on how you identify the problem that you want to solve and then derive the title of your thesis. So you note that our course is ICT Doctoral Research from title. So we're starting now with title. How do we get the title of your thesis? So that's the focus of this lesson. I trust you will enjoy it.
Oh yes, dear students, that is the focus of our lesson. That's ICT in the selection of title for doctoral research. You know, the lecture today is holding in this room here. I want you to just imagine it's a virtual venue for our class today. This is the room that we are in. Today is April 1, 2019, and it's April Fool's Day. So I wish you happy April Fool's Day. What are we going to learn in this lesson today? The objectives are for us to define ICT and to identify the tools that can help us, the ICT tools that can help us for deriving the titles, and then state 6 ways for getting the title of doctoral research. I'd like to congratulate, félicitations, all the students, 17 of them that scored 10 over 10 in the quiz for last week. You can see Adebayo spent 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes, 6 minutes, additional 9 minutes, 4 minutes by Emery Nimpaye, 4 minutes, got 10. 5 minutes by Atungimana, 5 minutes by Manirambona, Menge Adolf, 4 minutes and all that. So I'd like to congratulate them. By the way, I congratulate all of you because you did very well. The average for the class, for the quiz, was almost like 9. So you all did very, very, very well indeed. Oh, you promised me? Oh yes, I can hear you are promising me that this week we are going to all get 10 out of 10. Today's topic, as we said, is ICT in the selection of title from doctoral research. And we are going to break it down into 2 parts. Part 1 for today is the theory. Part 2 will be practicals, no theory. For next week, you are really going to enjoy it. It's going to be practicals. Oh, this week you are still going to enjoy that of today. Now, I've tried some translation into French. Please, pardon me if this translation is not so accurate, but I think it will help the class if we have some French translation on my slide. So you're going to see the French translation as reddish, white over reddish background. My dear students, getting the title is usually very, very tough. Title, very, very tough. In some cases, it can take months, if not years. Months, if not years, to get the title finalized. I have good news for you, good news. This lesson will let it take a few weeks. This lesson, if you follow this lesson, it will take just a few weeks for you to finalize the title of your thesis. Let's take objective number 1. What is ICT? Yeah? Can you tell us? We can see it here. Information and communication technology. Some will say information and communications. Put an S here. Technology. So can some of you tell us more about ICT? Arakaza Dionis, can you tell us some more? Or Fredawa or Bismana Emmanuel, or Micheline Sabiteka? Can you tell us? Or Nkuruziza Hilaire, or Norbert Manirakiza, or Nsabimana Abel? Can you tell us? Or any other person? Yeah, I'm sure you are going to tell us that ICT is an umbrella term that includes any communication device or application. That could be radio, it could be television, cellular phone, computer and network hardware, and all of these things. ICT, that's what it is. And it has several components. As you probably can see from here, the term information and communications technology is generally accepted to mean all technologies that combined allow people and organizations to interact in the digital world. So we've done objective number 1. Dear students, can we move on to objective number 2, or are there some questions at this stage? Oh, I can see you don't have any questions because ICT, we are used to it. So objective number 2 is for us to identify the ICT tools that can help us in getting the titles for our doctoral thesis. Sometimes you call it dissertation. It depends on the university. Some universities will take it with doctoral thesis. Some universities will take it to be doctoral dissertation. I will tell you as we go that most British type universities will say doctoral thesis. Most American universities will take it to be doctoral dissertation. It's the same thing. So here on this slide you have audiovisual materials, ICT related devices and gadgets. Dear students, the focus for this our lesson is on Google Scholar, and you will see how we can use this ICT tool in our practical session next week to derive the title of our thesis. Can we go to objective number 3, which is the last objective for this lesson? This will be 6 ways to get the title of your thesis using ICT. 6 ways to get the title of your thesis using ICT. Why 6 ways? It can be more than 6 ways. It can be 10, it can be whatever. I have only identified these 6 ways based on my experience. Let's take way number 1. You can get the title of your thesis by your supervisor giving you the title based on his or her own current research theme. And the ICT tool that he can use, he can send to you as email or telephone you like this, say, oh, Abel, I think the title of your thesis should be this. So he can send the document to you as an MS Word. He can send the title to you by sending an MS Word document. So this is a way, step number 1, one way that you can get the title of your thesis. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is when you read, you keep reading literature review, and then you read the work of your supervisor. You use Google Scholar as an ICT tool. You read the work of your supervisor, and then you are able to see the recommendations for further research from your supervisor, and then from there get the title of your thesis. That's way number 2. Any questions so far? Oh, none. So I can go on to way number 3. Way number 3 is that your friend, you can find that Boyayo Theodet, your friend can be Micheline Sabiteka or Roger Mohindo Bizaka, to say, oh, let me suggest this topic to you. And then your friend can suggest the topic to you. By the way, the topic of my master's project report was suggested to me by a friend. or it can be by the organization that is sponsoring your doctoral study. The organization can suggest the title to you. That is way number 3. Let's go to way number 4. Way number 4 is that it is the title of your thesis is selected as your continuation of your master's thesis or dissertation project report. And this is quite interesting. And it may be something like this. Yeah, these are the titles of the master's thesis or project reports from members of the class. You can see them. So let me make this bigger. Here. So you can look at this. It can be that, okay, look at Arakaza Dionisi, the role of the peaceful protest in effecting revolution in the Arab Spring. Dionisi can decide to now dig deeper into this master's project work and just modify the title a little bit. The role of peaceful protest in effecting revolution in the Arab Spring, peaceful protests and associated activities in effecting revolution. That can be PhD title. Fredawa assessment of adherence to the guidelines for utilization of district assemblies common fund in Ghana. You can modify this one also. And so these are your master's project reports. You have Nimpai Emery, approach of internal control to implement in a non-profit association without budgeting or regular accounts, the case of University of the Great Lakes, Burundi. You may decide to take another university or take 2 more universities to be to be what you're going to study for your doctorate degree. As I said, it will be continuation of what you did before. Number 5 is you can select your title as a way of addressing a pressing developmental challenge in your community or country. There could be one challenge, one issue relating to food security or health security or education or social justice or whatever, and then you know that this is a developmental challenge facing your country, and you can then get a title based on that developmental challenge. Let's take the last one. The last one are the 6 ways using Google, just ordinary Google, not Google Scholar, to search for reports on major challenges facing your nation or community. So that's the thing. But I will tell you what. I tell you something. Tell you a trick. What I've considered, from my experience, to be the best method, Peter Okebukola's best method, to select a title that will not give you a problem. My dear students, if you look at this, major challenges facing your nation or community, you bring it to your supervisor. Your supervisor may say, well, okay, fine. The supervisor may not be interested. The supervisor may not know the technique, and it is going to let you spend a longer time in your doctoral work. If it is selected as a way of addressing pressing development challenge in your community or country, it will be a challenge. If it's a continuation of your master's thesis or project report, you will spend more time, especially if your supervisor for your PhD is not your supervisor for your master's. You are going to spend quite some time. If it's a topic suggested by a friend, organization, you are still going to spend. Your supervisor may say, I'm not interested in it, and you will just be stranded. It will be really tough for you. But what I'm saying, what Peter Okebukola is telling you, the best method is this. This is the best method. which you select the title. After reading the recommendations for further research from the latest article by your supervisor, and you use the ICT tool, would be Google Scholar Search. We're going to do this practical next week. It's going to be nice. It's going to be exciting. Now, let me tell you the steps that will let you achieve this best method. Let me tell you the steps. Ladies, my dear students, do you want to spend 6 years doing your PhD? Oh, I can hear all of you in class. You are saying no. You want to spend the time that should take maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. So to do that, you have to get a title quickly. And the title using the ICT will be as follows. The first thing that you do is you use ICT to search for the latest studies carried out by your supervisor. So you are giving the name of your supervisor. If it is Peter Okebukola, for instance, you will then, by the way, just hold on a minute. Let me just make a reference to something. Yeah, so let me take Roger Mohindo Binzaka, who has asked that I co-supervise his PhD work, and I have agreed. So his thesis title that he suggested is Cognitive Activation and Time Management in Higher and University Education, a contribution to the quality of higher education in Goma. You see, I am in the area of quality assurance in higher education. So this area is something that I love to do. So it will be very easy for, let me open his project title. So this is what we have for him. Yes, that is it. So excuse me, this is it. Wonderful. So Professor Ndayisaba and Okebukola, co-promoting, co-supervising the work. So it will be very easy, for him to press on with. Yeah, so you use ICT to search for latest studies carried out by your supervisor. In other words, you get the name of the supervisor, Okebukola, Peter Okebukola, and then you go and search with ICT, Google Scholar, his latest studies. Or if it is Juma Shabani, you just type Juma Shabani, you will go to see this in practice. Today's lesson is theory of it, so you are going to see it in practice. But as step 1 is to use ICT to search for the latest studies carried out by your supervisor. You got that? Yes, good. Can we move to step 2? All right, so let's go to step 2. Step 2 is that you read the published papers. You read the published papers of your supervisor and locate the recommendations for further research. The recommendations for further research is usually towards the end of the paper. They will say, your supervisor will say, I suggest that future research should be carried out in these areas 1, 2, 3, 4. Bravo. So you got him. Because of step 3 is to pick 2 or 3 of the recommendations as a theme for your title. And then what will you do? You then approach your supervisor and you derive it. No, you don't approach your supervisor yet. Step 4, you derive a title from the sub-themes. You derive a title from the sub-themes. Step 5 is for you now, knock on the door of your supervisor. Pom, 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 pom. Yes, come in. Oh, yes. Bonjour, chief promoter, Mr. Supervisor, Professor. Please, I'm happy to present to you these 2 titles for your consideration. Wow. Because it's the area of your supervisor. He will love it. He will know that you see, you will find it very easy for him. He will be very happy with you. And your doctoral work will go very fast. Now, don't worry about the work, the problem for your country, Burundi, or okay, let me even show the countries that we have in our group. So these are members of our class, and these are nationalities, mainly Burundi and Congo. You see, Adolf from DRC, Burundi, Ghana, Burundi, Congo, DRC, Burundi. So look, don't worry yourself because you want a PhD. PhD will just to prepare you, give you the methods so that all the other areas of interest for you or for your country, of your community, you can now use this technique, use what you have learned to carry out the other studies. But for the purpose of your doctoral work, you want it to be quick. You want it to, for your supervisor to be able to be happy to supervise you. So after seeing this, your supervisor will be very happy. Bravo! Bravo, 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 bravo. By the way, don't hold your supervisor like that. Yes, I don't hold your supervisor like that. And you'll be so happy. It will be your joyful day. And you go celebrate with your friends. I have found the title. The title, my dear students, getting the title of the doctoral work, as we said at the beginning of this lesson, is very, very, very difficult. But with this technique I've told you, it's a master key for using ICT to get the title, master key. We're going to learn about the practical in the next class. So part 2 of this lesson will be delivered next week. It will be practical use of ICT to get the title using this best method. Do I have any questions from you so far before we close the lesson? I can see that I don't have any questions. It appears as if we well understood the lesson. So let me summarize what have we learned in this lesson. In this lesson, we defined ICT and we listed ICT as tools for deriving the titles of our thesis or dissertation. And we also learned 6 steps of using ICT to get our thesis titles. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget this week we have a number of activities coming up. On Wednesday, we have discussion forum, and then we have weekly test 2. You have promised me that weekly test 2, you are all going to get 10 out of 10. And of course, we have a live virtual class. The first one is coming up on Saturday. So check the time, take the time for your group. It's coming up on Saturday. Until next week, my dear students, it is bye from me. Over.